Will do. I see Memphis is on her way in. That is awesome. Awesome. All right. So again, I hope that you're having a wonderful night and that you're preparing for your holiday. So let's go ahead and get started because we're going to try and do these live calls a little later on, and we have to do them manually. So, bear with your sister, bear with your sister. But because we are going to do that, I'm going to go ahead and move on because I know that might take a little bit of time. So we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and start right off with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion. Did any of you see that? Let me know if you saw the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion and what you thought about it if you did. What were your initial thoughts? If you did not see it, I'm going to assume that maybe you saw, some advertising of it or maybe something floating across social media about it. But let me know what your initial thoughts are for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'm going to give you a second to do that. And while you are doing that, I have someone trying to get in. Let me see if I can help her get in. Let me see if I can help her get in. Y'all just hold tight, but I'm looking for your answers. When was it? Danielle said, when was it? It was, I want to say about 6 days ago on HBO Max. If I'm wrong, somebody let me know. But I think that's when it was, about 6 days ago on HBO Max. I actually didn't get a chance to watch the entire thing until today. I had watched just some stuff that they had talked about on TV. Anita said she didn't see it either. Oh, so you all in for a treat. And when you get off, if you have an opportunity, check it out. Okay, let me try and share this feed. I'm having a hard time sharing this here feed with one of the ladies that's going to do a call tonight. Let me just give her. Just want to let her know I'm going to send a link. Let's see. So Tracy said, oh, Tracy, you didn't see it either? That surprises me. Okay. And then let me see, Tracy said, when they said the first Aunt Viv was coming, I wasn't interested. Oh, now that's surprising because I would have assumed, oh, that's surprising. We really got to talk about this. That's surprising. Let me see. Okay. Y'all just hang out with me for a second. Let me get her together. And I gotta use my phone. And it's, what's interesting about isn't it interesting that when you're there we go. When you're dealing with technology, that's when it starts acting funny. But I think I found it. I think I found it. Bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. I think I just got it to her. I think that's it. If not, she'll let me know. Okay, so nobody watched it. Let's see what else go. Soggy Paws. Oh no, Corey said I tried to watch it today. The audio was so poor on the posting of it. I tried to watch. How did you watch it? I watched it on HBO Max. I did get one of those quick little subscriptions. I'm saying quick because that shit ain't gonna last. I ain't keeping it. But I did do that. Soggy Paw said, call me for your next cookie order. Oh, what kind of cookies you doing, baby? Let me see, I ordered 7 dozen cookies, Soggy Paw said, for my Thanksgiving dinner. That's all I want. That's all I'm going to eat for the next 2 days. Cookies? Are you talking about enhanced cookies or just cookies? Let a sister know. Let a sister know. I just want to know. Let me show you all a picture while I'm waiting on Soggy Paws to answer. What kind of cookies we talking, Soggy Paws? We talking regular cookies or we talking the kind that make you happy? Okay. All right. I see you, Memphis. I see you. I'm glad you made it. All right. So, Danielle said if cookies is what you want, she can cater your whole Christmas dinner because she does enhanced desserts. Pretty good cookies, I might ask. I've had some myself. So Soggy Paws, let me know what kind you were talking about, please. Inquiring minds want to know. And while you were doing that, I am going to give you this here first graphic. If you did not see it, is that a beautiful pic or what? Okay, Danielle told me to mind my business. This is me minding my business. All right, you all see, what do you think about the picture? Isn't there, everybody look good, right? Everybody is just beautiful. I thought it was a beautiful, beautiful picture. Beautiful picture. And lots of them. And I'm kind of glad to be able to share it with you all since you all haven't seen it. So I won't give you too much information, but I'll just give you enough to make you want to go watch it, hopefully. So here, of course, is one of the total pictures. And as you said, Tracy, Aunt Viv, the first OG Aunt Viv, like she is often referred to, was not there. So Tracy, I'm just going to ask you this before we move on. What did you not like about OG Viv? Let me know what you didn't like about OG Viv. Okay, got you. Andrea, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You're so funny. I got you though. Okay, let's see. Y'all still talking about cookies. Soggy Paul said, what kind of cookies do you make? I got to slow up after Thanksgiving. I couldn't zip my dress. Oh, she makes all kinds, both kinds, she says. Yes, indeed. Okay, so Tracy, let me know what you don't like about OG Aunt Viv. Because that of course is that is the argument, OG Aunt Viv / light skin Viv, right? And that's literally what I found on the internet when I was pulling pictures. I found one that actually had light skin Viv on it. So just for anyone out there, maybe a youngin that might get a hold to this this video, they might not know what this is all, what the whole hullabaloo was about. But there was a time when we were watching the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and this woman who is the mother right next to Will was not the mother. She is who we like to refer to as the light skin Aunt Viv. Originally, there was another Aunt Viv, and this is the original Aunt Viv for those maybe a youngin or someone who would not know. This is the original Aunt Viv, the OG Aunt Viv, the chocolate Aunt Viv. And we were watching this show, and one day, we were watching the show, and Aunt Viv looked like this. And we came back the very next day, and Aunt Viv looked like that lady sitting next to Will. And obviously Tracy was not, but many of us were distraught. Like, what the hell happened to Aunt Viv? And what was more interesting about it is when Aunt Viv changed, y'all let me know what y'all think about this. When Aunt Viv changed, what I thought was, oh my God, it was offensive, was that they never said anything about the woman. They never said how she all of a sudden turned the 7 shades lighter. They never said why all of a sudden her attitude changed with her, or her demeanor changed. We didn't know who this woman was, and there was no indication that there was a change, and no reference of the change on this show. Now, I don't know how that affected you all, but for me, I was offended. I said, well, damn it, they can't even say, I don't know. They could have said the woman got hit and replaced by her sister. I don't know. They could have said something. She didn't say nothing. It was almost like she just disappeared into thin air, or she was transfigured. So it was crazy. It was crazy. Tracy said she spent way too many years being a bitter bee. Okay, now that's interesting. Tracy said she spent too many years being bitter. Angie said it makes you think that they were trying to go with a lighter version. That's how I felt. I was like, what the fuck happened? I was distraught. Let me just say this. I was tripping. Now, Tracy, let me ask you this. Before Aunt Viv turned bitter, because clearly she turned bitter, what did you think about her before she turned bitter? I would love to know that. What did you think about her before she turned bitter? Danielle says, I was wondering why the dark-skinned Vic was gone. Okay. I was wondering too. And I was mad because, again, it was almost like you know, once you become invested in these shows, it's almost like, in some weird fanatical way, it's almost like you are a part of the family, right? Danielle said she thought it was offensive too. Anita says she was traumatized. I was okay. So there's some more people that feel like me. Tracy, I want you to tell me what you felt like before Aunt Viv, or before, let's use her name now since we're talking about outside of the show, before Janet Hubert became a bitter bitch, because that's what you said, really. Let me know what you felt about her before that. When she left the show, when she was gone, when it was like poof, she didn't exist. What did you think then? What were your feelings about it then? And even after then, before she came bitter, what were your feelings about her? Okay, so Tracy said, I paid no attention to her outside the show. I did think the second Aunt Viv was corny. Okay. All right, because that's what I was feeling. My thought was, look at that. This is probably not fair. But I did not put that on that photo. I did not write light-skinned Aunt Viv. I did not do that. It was actually online like that. And I just bust out laughing and I snatched this one. I thought that was hilarious. Anyway. So I was absolutely not happy with it, right? Angie says, well, as Black people, we are still traumatized by the whole light skin, dark skin. And you right about that. Danielle said, I'd like to know what happened to cause the bitterness. It didn't just happen for no reason. Okay, here we go. All right. And this is the information that I wanted to talk about. All right, so what was said was, and I remember kind of following it along the lines, but this is what it looked like up until the discussion that took place during the reunion that just happened. It seemed like, or what I gathered, and you all can tell me what you gathered over the years. I mean, before the reunion, this is what I gathered from the internet and from, conversations and what have you. I gathered that she had been fired, that she and Will didn't get along, and therefore she had been fired, that he was more powerful than she was. And so therefore she lost her job, right? But my understanding was that he had something to do with having her fired if he didn't fire her himself. All right. It wasn't long. It hasn't been that long ago that I first started hearing stuff out of Janet Hubert's mouth herself. Aunt Viv's mouth herself, because she became very popular on social media, and she started talking like I noticed maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, I started seeing stuff come up, maybe a little longer, maybe about 7 or 8 years ago. But when I tell you I saw stuff come up, and you all can let me know if you heard any of this, the stuff that I heard come up, it was pretty venomous. Excuse me. So when Tracy says she's a bitter bitch, I'm sure it had to do with some of this stuff. I mean, she got to the place where if any of you have seen, and I know Tracy has because she sent me something about the other night. If any of you have seen Monique lately, she and her husband going off online about, Tyler Perry's, what she believed was Tyler Perry mistreating her, and Oprah Winfrey mistreating her, and the other guy that was a producer and the director, the creator of Precious. I can't think of his name right now. But if you've seen any of her stuff online and her stuff about Netflix and how she feels like Netflix was not good to her, if you've seen any of that, that's kind of the kind of anger, resentment, venom that was coming from Aunt Viv about Will Smith in this show. The only difference, I think, was that she was not as prevalent. Monique is everywhere sometimes. Sometimes she and her husband, every time you turn on it, you try to get on YouTube, they're on there complaining about. And I'm not trying to belittle. I'm not trying to belittle Monique at all, because I think she has some legitimate gripes too. She's just been griping a long time, and it kind of, after a while, it's just like, which is, I think, what Tracy was trying to tell me the other day when she texted me. But the kind of venom that Janet Hubert or OG Aunt Viv has, she's got a tongue like a viper. I mean, really, she has a tongue like a viper. Monique is harsh too, but it's different. It's different. Viv is harsh. It's like a viper. It cuts deep, right? So I would hear her in little conversations about them, and she would say stuff like, she even brought one conversation I heard. I believe she brought Jada in it because it seems like what I gathered was that since Jada and Will have become a couple, that she kind of got in on this stuff, right? And so she became very vocal about how mistreated she was on that show. And then she went to name calling and a little bit of name calling and a whole bunch of other stuff. Danielle said, okay, what happened, right? So she became very angry. And that is the story that I had. That she was fired, that she was angry, and she was spitting venom as a result of it, and she wasn't turning down anymore. It seemed like for a long time she kept quiet. But for these past 6 or 7 years, she was like, okay, they mistreated me. They were childish. They've gone behind their back behind my back to blackball me. They've caused me to lose roles. They've ruined my life, she said. She said that she lost jobs, that because she was a black woman in Hollywood and she was a dark-skinned black woman in Hollywood, that they already have a hard way to go, right? This is what the kind of the venom she was spitting over the years. That they already have a hard way to go. And that when Will put his mouth on her after leaving, saying the same thing that Monique said, that they said about her, that she was hard to work with. She said, that's it. Once they label you a black woman hard to work with in Hollywood, you can hang it up because you ain't gonna make no more money. Angie said, OG Viv reminded me of a realistic black family. New school Viv was corny and not as believable. I agree with that. That's why I said, their demeanor was different. It would have been one thing if she was, let me just say this, which probably never would have worked, but I bet you if they used this person, if this person was available, I'm getting ready to tell y'all name. If this person, this light-skinned woman, replaced Aunt Viv, there wouldn't have been so much hullabaloo. For instance, had they replaced Aunt Viv with somebody like Debbie Allen or even Felicia Rashad, they're sisters, but let's just say they had replaced her with somebody like her. Had they replaced her with somebody like Felicia Rashad or Debbie Allen, for instance, there wouldn't have been so much of a hullabaloo because, yes, they're lighter skinned, but they got all that oomph, all of that attitude that Aunt Viv has. This woman that they got, this chick right here, the new one, this one, she don't have any of that. She just don't have it. So she was corny. She was corny and it just wasn't very uninteresting. All right, uninteresting. All right, let's see. Read some of this. Soggy Paul said, "Where's a live chat?" You on it, baby. You can't. You on it. Are you talking about the call in? We're gonna do that in a little while. If you mean call in, let me know if that's what you meant. That's coming up. It's coming up. I kind of wanted to keep it a little toward the end so you can comment on whatever you want to comment on, but that is certainly coming up. Pause. Let's see. Tracy says she wanted more money. Her role wasn't even more important than Uncle Phil's. Angie said, true that. Angie said, a little more edge, right? Afro-Latina spice. Exactly. They have that Afro-Latina spice. Absolutely. So Tracy said that her role wasn't even as important as Uncle Phil. Let's go to the money thing. She said that they gave her a really bad contract. They went to renegotiate her contract and they wanted to give her a really, really bad contract. Now, I'm telling you what she said since the reunion because she didn't say, I don't know that she got this detail before. She said that they offered her a really, really bad contract. And it was so bad that she wouldn't accept it because and I'm saying this part, she didn't say this part, I'm saying this part, because she knew of her worth in the show. I think she knew that she had a certain respect in that show. But anyway, we've heard this before from different shows, different sitcoms. But anyway, she said she wouldn't take it. And they said to her, okay, well, you don't have to take it, but you got, I think it was 3 months or something like that left. You ain't got to do it, but you cannot work anywhere else because you're under contract. So that meant she was just out in the cold. because she said she couldn't do it for that kind of money, because she said during the reunion that she couldn't afford to do it for that kind of money. That she couldn't afford, but they redid her contract, and this is what they offered her. She said she couldn't afford it. She said that she was in a relationship with a husband that was whooping her ass, and did nobody know it. She said that he was whooping her ass, and she had that brand new baby. And she said she could not afford to take less money, but that is what they offered her. Now, here's the interesting thing. Now I'm moving into the actual reunion. There's been venom back and forth for years between she, Will Smith, and Jada, because Jada got involved in it too. My understanding is she's got him saying little things because of her husband, so on and so forth. And even with Alfonso Ribeiro, there have been some back and forth with him between she and, because he kind of, took it on and began to fight too, also seemingly on Will's end, is what it looked like. So that's where the animosity really was between she and Alfonso, and mainly between she and Will, and as a result with his wife. So during the reunion, she said that she could not, Ann said, wow, did not know this info. Good, I'm glad I'm able to give it to you. Yay. So she said she could not afford to work like that. What's interesting is that Will didn't know that either. He said all that fighting they were doing, he had no idea that really was going on in his life. So I'm moving a little bit ahead of myself, but let me just add that. She also said, you know what, let me do this because I don't want to miss any really important piece that I kind of pulled out for this right here. So let me go to my notes real quick, because there's something I want. Okay, so listen to this. These were two pieces that went around before the reunion when they were spatting. This is one thing that Will said. Will said, now where he said this, I don't know, but it was caught in a transcript. Listen to this. I can say straight up, now this is back in the day when she left the show. I can say straight up that Janet Hubert wanted the show to be the Aunt Viv of Bel Air show, because I know she is going to dog me in this press, Smith said in a radio interview at that time. She has basically gone from $250,000 a year to nothing. She mad now, but she's been mad all along. She said once, I've been in the business for 10 years, and this snotty-nosed punk comes along and gets a show. No matter what, to her, I'm just the Antichrist. Now that was from Will. That was a quote from Will. And here's a quote from her also during that time. He probably is responsible for my firing, Hubert said in response to those Smith statements. He has a lot of clout. It's too bad that it's a black-on-black attack. I have tried not to name names. I have more class than that. I wish Will would tell the truth. If you're going to talk, then tell the truth. He has gotten me fired from the show, and now he's trying to get my career snatched away from me. Now, that was earlier back in the day. When they sat down, that's the kind of stuff that I heard. But then I also heard her say some really interesting things straight to him, right? When they came together the other day, he said that they were talking about this reunion. And they've been talking about this reunion for quite some time. And let me tell you another thing that I found on the internet that I thought was hilarious. Because Aunt Viv got a mouth on her. She got a tongue, period. She ain't the kind of woman to be fucked with, really. I mean, honestly. But, I guess he had that clout she was talking about. So let me show you a picture first. There was an original post of when they were talking about this reunion coming up. And I think it was around May of this year. So let me show you the post real quick. Here's the post. So my understanding is they're getting ready for this reunion. And so Alfonso put this up on his Instagram. You see it says, the real Alfonso Ribeiro, always amazing to spend an afternoon with my Fresh Prince family, wishing that James Avery was still with us to make this complete. But you all look down and look at the comment. The first person, Septic Pig, says, still hate the fact they replaced real Aunt Viv. Somebody else said, what about the original Aunt Viv? So I don't know if he ever, responded to it or not. But let me tell you what I found on somebody else's post. Here's another post that somebody put on I believe it came from Aunt Viv's the OG Aunt Viv's Instagram. So somebody said to her, the new Fresh Prince reunion picture that just came out is certainly not complete without the real Aunt Viv. So she says, this was from that dumbass Alfonso Ribeiro who likes to try and be the spokesperson for the show. He is Will's tampon, has been for a long, long time, she said. So they say, somebody else says, I feel you on that, Miss Hubert. And then somebody else says something else. She responds by saying, Will, listen to this. Will hates dark-skinned sisters unless they have lots of money and straight hair. But he had a brown mama. So that's just one little piece that I just wanted you all to see how, when she get going, she get going. And that was a snippet, because the stuff that I saw years ago was, I couldn't find any of it. But that's what she said when they were originally talking about this Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion. Now, fast forward to this time in this place. Will said that he was thinking about this 30-year reunion, and he said that he's older now. He has had some time to think about it. And he said he got to thinking, how can I consider a 30-year reunion without paying attention to or giving homage to what she has done or what she did in helping us to create this show? What she did in the show. He said, I know that it was bad. He said, but I know that the spat was bad. He said, but she's done a lot. And I couldn't see myself going further without having a talk with her and trying to come to grips with her. Okay, let me read some of your stuff. Tracy said, there lies the root of the bitter seed. Yeah, absolutely. Angie said, wow, did not know this info. Yeah, her mouth is hot. Oh yeah, it's hot. It's really hot. So this is what happened. They get ready to come together for the reunion, and they sit down together. And when I say they, I'm talking about, the whole front crew, right? They sit down, they had this conversation, and Will is here, and this is during the actual event. And then he tells them during this event, he says, I'm enjoying this time together, so on and so forth. They talk about Uncle Phil, of course. And then he says, I don't know he said, but I was thinking about this. He said, I don't know how I could do this without bringing in Janet Hubert. He said, because, there's no question about what she means to this show. He said, in all these years, we've had really bad spat, but I had to go and reach out to her and see if I could talk with her. And their mouths are hanging open. And then he says to them, I actually had a conversation with her on yesterday. He said, I sat down and I talked with her after 27 years, just she and I. And you could see the tears welling up in their eyes when they're saying this. So this picture, of course, is from their talk that he had the night before they met for the actual reunion. And as you can see, was on his Instagram the day after. And he said it was beautiful seeing you, and more importantly, hearing you. Thank you, Janet. This was absolutely beautiful. It really was. The way he talked to Aunt Viv, to Janet Hubert, it was absolutely heart-wrenching. I was blessed by just listening to it. So let me kind of give you just a little bit of how what happened with that. So they sat down, and she was very, very clear. She was very straightforward. She did not bite but the anger wasn't there anymore. I noticed that. The anger was not there like we've been seeing over years. And she came in with a whole different attitude. You could tell she was very open, as well as wanting some answers. Okay, hey, what's going on, Sonny? He said, I hear that she had a hard time dealing with Will and that he was arrogant and very hard to deal with. She also owned the fact that she didn't want to answer to a young rapper with no acting skills, I guess you're saying. Well, that's interesting because they did talk about that. What she said was this, which I thought, I was just kind of putting myself into place, and I thought, God, it had to be hard. So here's the thing. Sonny says, what sister don't have no mouth? It comes with the melanin. Yeah, but everybody don't have one like that. That chick right there. Woo-wee. So they sat down, and she came in, and she said, one of the first things she said was, I'm tired. I'm tired. Monkey Wrench. They're both actors. Their reunion is good for ratings. Knock it off. Well, that's true too. That's true too. But if that's what it was, Tracy, they got me. They got me. If I had to pay to see it, I would. Well, I did pay because I paid for HBO Max. But yeah. Sonny said, "What part does male patriarchy or patriarchy? I don't know how to say that word. Patriarchy play in this? Interesting. Say that, Sonny. Let's get to that. That's an interesting question. What part does male patriarchy play in this? That's really interesting. I think it plays some. Okay, so let me tell you what he said. So anyway, she said, she came in, she's like, I'm tired. She said, it's been a long time. And she said, I forgot the word she asked, but she asked him a statement, like something like, are you tired too? Something like that, Anyway, long and short of it was, she said this. She said that they had been, for years, she said they had been back and forth. She said, we've said some really nasty things to each other over the years. She said, but I have one question. Very straightforward, looking him straight in the face, like in the eyeballs, like I'm looking at you. Like she says, why? I just want to know why and why so long, right? The story was this. She said she was in a horrible relationship. She said, so she was coming to work every day after getting her ass whooped. That's really what she said. She didn't say those words, but that's what she said. She said a very abusive relationship. She said, my husband was abusing me. So she was coming over every day in that state. And she was pregnant before and had just had a baby afterwards. So what happened was her attitude seemed to change. She said she'd come to work, she said, and I just did not feel like laughing. She said, and I didn't want to talk. But what she talked about, or what she explained, was the fact that they were very, very noisy. Now, she didn't say all of this. I'm adding a little, I'm reading what she said. They were very noisy, they were young, and they were just wild, right? She said they were wild, and there was a whole lot of noise. She said, and Will was on 100 all the time. So she got to a place when she would come to work, and she chose not to talk because she didn't have the space for it. Now, we're talking about a grown woman getting in an abusive relationship, and either pre-pregnant, pregnant, or post-pregnancy, right? So all she wants to do, and a consummate professional, so all she wants to do is do her job, come to work, do her job. What Will seemingly wanted was her to be involved with all of the chaos that was going on. Now, later on, when I actually watched the reunion, I could see then exactly what kind of chaos she was talking about. Not only was he full of himself, 20 years old, and all of that, there was a whole lot of hullabaloo going on the set whenever they came on the set. She said that she didn't want to connect with. She wanted to be quiet and just do her job, but they wouldn't allow that. So she said that he kept pulling on her, wanting her to do this and that. And because she was shut down, then they started to shut her off and back. So then it became, she over there in the corner quiet, and she not with us, and we over here doing our thing, and we ain't gonna pay no attention to her. So can you imagine what that looked like on a daily basis? I'm asking y'all that. Can you imagine what that was like on a daily basis? Now that was pretty much her explanation of it to him. He pretty much responded and said, yeah, you're right. That is what it was. I was wild. I was loud. I was trying to prove a point, pretty much. I was fearful of losing all my position. He said it pretty much. And you came in with being a triple and quadruple threat with all this knowledge. And I just was trying to get your attention and felt like you really didn't like me at all. Is that some shit? Y'all tell me what y'all think about that. Give me some thoughts on that. I'm going to read some of these messages. So Tracy said, monkey. Okay, we got that one. Okay, the male patriarchy. I really want to deal with that. Corey said, if Will Smith and original Aunt Viv had an issue, it should have stayed between them. They have reconciled, and all those other folk are on the outskirts looking stupid with no real issue. That's an interesting thought, because they really didn't. They were just kind of looking on. And very thankful. You could tell they were thankful that the elephant was no longer in the room. Tracy, so did she apologize to Alfonso? That's funny. We'll take that later. I got something where she was checking for Alfonso, but I didn't hear an apology to Alfonso. But also Alfonso wasn't there. That's another issue that kept coming up all over social media. He wasn't there. He wasn't there during her part, but he was there during the rest. So that's an interesting thought. She did not apologize to Alfonso, but I did find somewhere where she was checking for him because he wasn't there. Okay, so I'll hit back a little later. Danielle said that's a lot. It sounds exhausting. It was a lot. But interesting. Okay, Angie said absolutely. It's like when you want to come to work and go home and people want to involve you in the workplace, BS and gossip. Exactly. So I was thinking it while she was explaining it, describing it, I was like, oh my God, that had to be horrible. Because I can imagine being her. Because, for one, just from my teaching experience, and many of you, I know, several of you that are writing, I know have had situations where you deal with kids and you deal with teenagers. And you know how ruckus they can be and how and selfish. They ain't thinking about you. And that's pretty much what he said in the conversation, that he didn't have the wherewithal to think about it. I was 20 something years old, full of myself, and so she said, the other thing that she said was there was always a bunch of teenage boys, his buddies, hanging around the set where they could make a whole bunch of noise and all of that. And I thought, God, I can see how this went wrong. I can see how it went wrong, because what happened was she, boxed herself off, trying to get some peace. They boxed her off thinking she don't want to be bothered with us, so just stay over there. And then everything become animosity, And so if Will is in a place where he got some power and you don't, and he think you don't like him, and, you bigoted and don't like me, you older and you think you all of that and you don't like me. Can you imagine what that was like? And even for her, because she's a very strong personality, so I would imagine that she became more stubborn, more angry, because she felt like you all are mistreating me, Anita said, you just never know what people are going through. Absolutely. Everything isn't personal. That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then they label you having an attitude because you are not caught up. That's right. And she said, the one thing she said, she didn't want to she wanted to kiss his ass. And everybody was kissing his ass because he was the golden child at the time. That's really what it came down to. But she refused to do that, and she didn't have the capacity to do it because she was trying to stay afloat, trying to live, right? So, okay, so what do you all think about that? Let me know what you think. Any more thoughts you have on that? I see some more coming. Tracy said, where did she think she was? The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was a comedy. Absolutely. Did she think she worked on a drama? Maybe she, I don't know, Tracy. I think that might be a little harsh. Because I'm thinking about it. I don't think, no, I'm probably biased. I think he should have apologized to her. Let me just put that right there. But when I think about it, I don't know. You can work on a drama you can work on a comedy without everything being, without it being a circus every day. Right? Right. And said to Tracy, but it was work. Exactly. It was work for her. But for them, it was the come up. That's what it was for them. So they were all about, especially him, was all about trying to grow, a name for himself, and this was interesting too. I won't go into all of this, but if you all can find, and it's on YouTube. So if I get the time when I cut this off, I'll add that link to this chat. But he did a takeover of the Red Table. So Red Table Talk, he took the Red Table. Jada wasn't there. It was him and a counselor, him and a therapist. And they rewound this reunion. That was even better than the reunion for me. I'm not going to tell y'all what's all in that, but some of the stuff that he and Vil talked about sitting in that chair, they unwound it, and she got all the way back to why he may have been functioning the way he was. That is a awesome talk. Y'all go and get that. Even if you don't watch the show, the reunion, go get that Red Table Talk with Will Smith about that Fresh Prince reunion. That's a great piece. It's a great piece. Tracy, I thought about this when you said that thing about it being, it's not she was working on a comedy, not a drama. That's the same thing that happened with James on Good Times. I don't know how much y'all read about that, but the very same thing happened. And he and Florida had an issue, but he left first, not being able to take it. And what it was this. They said that this comedy was turning into, I'm looking at Sonny put buffoonery, was turning into buffoonery. And they felt like they were allowing Jimmy, JJ, to turn it into buffoonery when they felt like they were able to comedically deal with real political issues that were going on in the Black community. And that's how it started out. But the more laughs they got from Junior saying stupid shit, the more they wanted. And everything turned into, that's what I say, and all of that. They were having the exact same issues. They felt like we are coming to do serious work and y'all turning this into a bunch of bullshit, right? So not exactly the same thing, but very similar. That too was a comedy, but they wanted to be a comedy with purpose, not a circus, right? Okay, let me read some more of this. Sonny said, just imagine what a young hypermasculine boy would do. Exactly. And that's what he said he was. And not only that, imagine a young hypermasculine boy with a bunch of other boys with him. And they just running around like, oh my God, and they got money and they got, cars and it's all brand new. This is all brand new. All new money, all new cars. They all fresh to death. Can you imagine? Completely full of themselves. And you trying to get work done and they running around like, the Rugrats. Tracy said Will's character was goofy, wild, and on 1,000. Yeah, she said that too. She said you were always, I think she may have even used the phrase 1,000. You were on 1,000. She may have said that herself. But if she was, it was something like you were on 10 or you were amped all the time or something like that. You were lit all the time. Corey, I think he was super immature and annoying throughout his career to me. I agree with that. And many times, yeah, I was happy to see him in serious roles because he was so goofy. And so, Tracy, the only serious episode I saw that still makes me cry is the one with Will's dad. They talked about that on the reunion too. In the house. What about in the house, Soggy Paws? What you mean in the house? Sonny said this is the same reason James. Exactly. Oh, well, yeah, exactly. He believed it was buffoonery. No, duh. I didn't read all that before I was talking. Exactly. Tracy said, I think Janet was a seasoned, classically trained she was every actress, and she signed up for the wrong role. Maybe so. She was. All of that. Oh, Saki Paul said she missed it. You got to watch it. It was great stuff. So we are already, I'm going to wrap this up because we're already at 10:53 and I didn't plan to spend that much time on it. But I'm not even going to go into the rest of it. I will say, let me just leave you with a couple things that was said about the Alfonso Ribeiro. Somebody asked her or said something about it on her Instagram page or Twitter page. And she said, don't assume. They noticed that Alfonso wasn't in her piece. She said, don't assume he was working and I wasn't there at that time. Let it go, sweetie. We have. So that's why I said she was checking for him. At least here, because I heard something else earlier that didn't sound like she was checking for him. Anyway, it's over for the most part, and I think it's a good thing. So my question to you, if you have any last thoughts about that, you can go ahead and put them there. Red Moscato, Electra Moscato. You know what? Because it's the holiday. Why not? Why the hell not? So let me ask you this. We'll finish it up with a simple question. Do you think? Thank you, Soggy Paws. I appreciate that. Thank you. Do you think that Aunt Viv has been due an apology from Will, that and it was about time, or no? Do you think she deserved this? It was high time. Do you say it was high time that Will gave OG Aunt Viv that explanation and that apology? He should have a long time ago. Or do you say she didn't deserve shit? She really glad she got it because she really didn't deserve it because she really was a bitter bitch yourself. Let me know. Give me your answer. Yes, you think she Viv earned that apology from Will, or no, she didn't earn it. She better be glad she got it. What is your answer? 1, saying yes, she deserved it. 2, saying not really. She better be glad she got it. Let me know in the chat. 1, yes, she should. She deserved it. 2, she didn't. Should have been glad she got it. Let me know. Anita said absolutely. So Anita, you won. Tracy said no. He is doing an apology for being dragged for years, and she did apologize. I forgot to tell you that. Sorry. She did apologize. I forgot to tell you that. Not only did she apologize, she was the first to apologize. Tracy, you gonna get on this OG Aunt Viv train tonight. I'm gonna pull your ass right up on here. Corey said 1, she did deserve it. She was the first to apologize. She said it before he ever said it. She asked him why, how did it go so long. He explained all of it. And when he was through, she said, and she jumped in there. She said, we said some bitter things. We really did. She said, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And then when he said he's sorry, she turned back and said, and I am too. So she apologized twice. She said the words, I am sorry, twice. This is what I want you to check for when you look at this. She said some really hateful things. Yeah, absolutely. She did. They all did. Victorious Roots, hey, what's going on? You say 1. Yeah. I'm on OG Aunt Viv's side too. I really am. But we all deserve respect, no doubt about that. And I do think it should be, and she finally has, but he explained it to her, took into consideration the fact that he was a kid. Kids do stupid shit. Period. They do stupid shit. Sonny said, not sure, don't see it, but I know male privilege. Yeah, absolutely. That's that thing about patriarchy. I do want to deal with that. Soggy Paws, regular homemade Oreo cookies. She's talking about cookies. Absolutely. So thank you all. We are done with this piece, which it was awesome. It was check out. He's going to give, if you looked at that red table talk I'm talking about, he's going to give a acronym for his process of listening, which you see in this reunion. It is beautiful to see him giving her the floor in more ways than one. You can see it, but he has an acronym that's love, listen. I can't remember what the U was for. It's LUV. Listen, something, and then validate the parts that are true. That's what he did when they were in that conversation. He did not overrun her. He did not overtalk her. You could see that he kept giving her space to get out whatever she needed to get out without any facial, just giving you full eye-on contact and letting her talk. It was beautiful. So check that out. We are making calls in about 15 minutes or less, because right now we are going to a quick little break, and then we're going to come back with the second piece, and that's when we're doing calls. So you all get ready for that. We're doing a few live calls tonight. For those there are several people